Hey guys, welcome to my Oscar recap. I watched almost every Oscar nominated film this year, and I'm gonna go category by category to mini rank them all, discuss my specific thoughts on each element of each film based off the category, and I will also be predicting what I think will win in each category. I've already made a 2024 film ranking, but I actually missed a lot of these movies, so this video will feel very different. Due to me not seeing a lot of these movies, and also due to me trying to get this out in a month, I decided to skip a bunch of films, so I've seen every film this year that got nominated for more than one Oscar. If I had already seen it though, I'll still obviously talk about it. I didn't have enough time for any of the shorts or documentaries, so I'm gonna skip those categories. Hopefully next year I'll have more time. I'm sure they're all great movies. And anyways, let's start this video off with the animated features.
Film.
And
international,
for best animated
that's cool.
feature film, here are the nominees.
They're giving animated films. That's nice.
Flow.
Fun of it. Flow would be nice if it won.
Inside
I would
Out
mean if
2.
it won. Yeah. Wild
Memoir
Robot.
of a Snail.
Okay. What were the other two?
Wallace
Like
and
Wild
Gromit,
Robot.
Vengeance
Okay.
Most Foul.
And then Wild Robot, right? Like, come on.
And The Wild Robot.
Okay. That's pretty good. I haven't seen the Wallace and Gromit or Memoir, but I've heard they're good, so it makes sense.
Unfortunately, I was not able to have the time to watch Memoir of a Snail or Wallace and Gromit for this segment. Memoir of a Snail looks really good though, and I'll definitely check it out sometime, and maybe I'll do the same for Wallace and Gromit. Okay, so animated feature film. The three films I've seen from this category is Flow, Inside Out 2, and The Wild Robot. My least favorite out of all of these films is unfortunately going to be Flow. I like Flow a lot, I really do. It's a really cool nomination, especially being one out of two animated films to get another nomination besides animated feature this year. Obviously, the visuals for this movie are absolutely amazing. I mean, it might be my least favorite visuals overall compared to these other movies, though the landscapes in this movie are by far some of the coolest visuals of the entire year. This is weirdly once again one of those movies that feels like it could be a video game. The silent, empty, and vast world of this movie hits really hard when the movie just settles and lets you take it all in. I guess Flow not having dialogue leads to none of the quote-unquote characters being too interesting. I really need strong characters for movies to work, and besides the awesome capybara, there's not a lot going on in that regard. Also, the ending still makes no sense at all. Why is the bird God? What does that mean? Overall, it's cute, it's fun. I really liked Flow. I'm totally cool with it winning. Next is Inside Out 2, which has no other nominations besides animated. I mean, this movie made my 2024 list. I still think it's great. I'm okay with it not getting any other nominations for any other categories. That's fair. It's a movie for kids that goes deep, but not deep enough to really justify any other Oscar nomination, let alone win animated. As much as I really like this movie, I really don't want it to win. It's great, but Flow and The Wild Robot would be much bigger dubs. The Wild Robot would be one of the only Academy wins for one of the most underappreciated animated studios, and Flow is an actual indie film. Pixar is like the king of this awards category. They've won for much better films, so they can skip out on this one. And of course, the best film in this category is going to be The Wild Robot for me. It's my favorite movie of the year. Come on. If I saw the TV glow and Hundreds of Beavers aren't going to get anything, I can at least be happy with my number one getting 2 nominations. The Wild Robot is a masterpiece and DreamWorks' best film to date. If anyone deserves an award for making an amazing film, it's them. Please, DreamWorks, stop dropping trash and just keep putting out masterpieces like this. For predictions, I'm gonna give animated feature to The Wild Robot, and as a runner-up, I'm gonna give it to Flow.
I'm Still Here, Brazil.
Heard of that.
The Girl with the Needle, Denmark.
I don't know what that
Nothing
is.
for Denmark. Emilia Perez,
No,
France.
stop.
The
Boo,
Seed of the Sacred
no.
Fig, Germany.
I heard of that one. I haven't seen it though.
And Flow, Latvia.
Whoa, I didn't know Flow was international. I forgot about that. That's cool. That's an animated film.
And
International,
for best
that's
animated
cool.
feature film, Alien, Romulus.
Doesn't that film use
Better Man.
AI? Are you dumb? Why would you do that?
Dune Part
That's not
2.
good. That makes sense.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I didn't expect that, but
And Wicked.
sure. Okay. I feel like Dune has to win this one. This is a Dune award.
A lot of monkeys in this.
For films that I missed, it's going to be The Girl with the Needle and Seed of a Sacred Fig. I know very little about these two films besides the controversy with Seed of a Sacred Fig. I may check these out some other time. Well, it's the first last place for Emilia Perez on this video. Since Emilia Perez is going to show up a lot during this video, I'm not going to judge this movie as well as everything on this list as an actual film, but how they function as international films. The controversy around this movie throughout the last month has been insane, and its rise and fall is so bizarre. I'm really not sure if this movie could even win an international international feature without being extremely offensive, as Mexicans have talked about how horrible this movie was at representing Mexico. Not even to mention the fact that this wasn't even filmed in Mexico. You can legit not give it to Emilia here. You just can't. Flow, despite being an overall better film than I'm Still Here, is still gonna be in second place. I like the movie like a lot, but it could honestly be from any country. That really doesn't matter though. The fact that this really well made movie is getting noticed despite not being American is cool. It's just another big W for animation. And in first is gonna be I'm Still Here. I thought I'm Still Here was really good at touching on corruption in the Brazilian government in the past, with a true, really horrific story that a lot of people, including me, didn't know. Just for that factor, it functions super well as an international film. Gotta drop all my issues with it just for that core reason. It's not perfect, but damn, it functions well at telling this true story. For predictions, I'm gonna give international film to Emilia Perez, and for the runner-up, it's gonna be I'm Still Here.
Alien, Romulus.
Doesn't that film use
Better Man.
AI? Are you dumb? Why would you do that?
Dune
That's
Part
not
2.
good. That makes sense.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I didn't expect that, but
And Wicked.
sure. Okay. I feel like Dune has to win this one. This is a Dune award.
A lot of monkeys in this film.
For the movies I missed in this category, it's going to be Alien, Romulus, and Better Man. Okay, I think the 3 nominations for this category are deserved, but by far my least favorite visuals out of these are Wicked. I mean, Wicked has good visuals, I guess. It's all passable, but stuff like the CGI apes look weird, and nothing else is super impressive. Its visuals look good, but that's kind of it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has really great visuals. It was by far my favorite part of the film, despite not really liking the rest. It's super consistent throughout the movie, and there's a lot of it. None of it really looked bad. I can believe these monkeys are shooting each other, sure. Despite not seeing Alien, Romulus, or Better Man, I'm pretty confident in Dune Part 2 being the best visuals out of all these. Dune Part 2's visuals are absolutely insane. Have you seen the worm riding seed? Absolutely breathtaking, fantastic CGI. And the execution from Dennis leads it to feel so natural and real. Speaking of Dennis, how did he not get a director nomination? That's messed up. Anyways, amazing visuals. I pray to God this movie wins it. Dune deserves so much more this award season. Predictions, I'm gonna give visual effects to Dune Part 2, and for runner-up, Better Man.
Leading role, the nominees are
Wicked? I don't know.
Cynthia
Honora?
Erivo in Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon in Emilia Perez,
Oh my
Mikey
god.
Madison in
It
Honora,
sucks.
Demi Moore in The Substance,
Whoa,
and
yeah.
Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here.
That's okay.
Last place is going to be Carla Sofia Gascon. Okay, for the record, she's actually okay in Emilia Perez. I thought that when I first saw the movie, and I still think that. She's okay as a person in real life, though. No. The controversy around this movie is actually insane. How does an already disliked movie fall off this hard to the point where your main actress has been caught making racist tweets towards pretty much every racial group? And this is in your damn supposedly progressive movie. Like a month ago, I would be cool with Carla winning. As much as I don't like Emilia Perez, she's fine in that film, and she would actually be the first trans actress to ever get nominated and win an Academy Award. That would actually be progressive and like cool. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, she's absolutely not winning now. And if she does, well, it's gonna be a really small positive and a sea of negativity. Again, she's fine in the movie, whatever. Next is Cynthia Erivo in Wicked, who also has some controversy, but instead of actual racism, I don't know, she's a little annoying, I guess. She's a pretty good lead in Wicked and does a good job. Ariana Grande kind of runs laps around her though, but it's a good performance. Okay, maybe this is a bit unexpected, but next is gonna be Demi Moore in The Substance. The Substance is by far my favorite movie out of these 5 nominations, but I actually think the 2 nominations above The Substance had better performances. Still though, I was so glad Demi Moore got a nomination for this movie, and I'm overall just really glad a bizarre out there horror film like The Substance is getting attention from the Academy. Demi Moore is great in The Substance, her complete insanity is super enjoyable and fun. The biggest issue is that Margaret Qualley is also like a lead role here, and she's just as good as Demi Moore, if maybe a bit more, I can't lie. Demi Moore isn't in this movie nearly as much as the other nominations. She's great, but doesn't have enough screen time and therefore isn't able to steal the spotlight as often. By far the best aspect of Honora was Mikey Madison. She is so good in this movie. She's able to be super fun and also the main core and heart of the movie. Didn't like Honora nearly as as much as other people seem to, but I would be really happy if Mikey Madison got an award for her performance here. It's kind of a tie here, but I'll give Fernanda Torres first. Fernanda Torres, I think, is just able to have a much more subtle screen presence, and just like Mikey Madison, she's also great, probably about the same in quality. I could go either one for this category. Both actresses are able to capture so much hidden pain in their performances, both breaking their walls and letting go in rare moments during both films, and they both do a great job. Would be happy if Fernanda or Mikey won, and actually Demi Moore winning would also be cool. I'm gonna predict that Demi Moore is gonna get Best Actress, and as a runner-up, Mikey Madison.
Styling are
I don't know, Wicked,
A
maybe.
Different Man,
That makes sense, yeah.
Emilia Perez,
No. No.
Nosferatu, The Substance,
Yes, that's
and
good. That's
Wicked.
really good. Yeah. Yeah, Substance win, let's go.
For makeup and hairstyling, I once again missed A Different Man. Sorry guys, I'm sure it's good, I just didn't have the chance. Yeah, Emilia Perez in last. I don't know, who cares? Makeup and hairstyling is fine, I guess, but it absolutely should not get an Oscar nomination. It's probably one of the least offensive noms for this movie, but like, none of the makeup stood out at any point. At least it wasn't actively bad. She is green. Yeah. Man, these rankings seem to kind of end up being the same. Wicked has good makeup. She was green. Okay, I really did not care for Nosferatu, but the nominations it got for the most part were well deserved, and again, horror films getting recognized is always a plus. The makeup in this film was really, really good. The gore is great, and like, I forgot his name, but the vampire that isn't called Nosferatu for some reason looked really good. Like, he was a little spooky, I can't lie. Number one isn't even close, it's going to The Substance. The makeup was so good that I talked about it in my 2024 video. I never noticed good makeup and hairstyling, but The Substance stood out so much as having some of the most insane looking horror creatures in a movie. The creature at the end of this movie is one of the best looking things to come out this year. It's so disgusting and horrific, but at the same time it looks absolutely amazing. I feel like out of all the nominations for The Substance, this is the nomination that I need to win. By far my favorite makeup this year, seriously, it's fantastic. I'm gonna predict that for makeup and hairstyling, it's gonna be The Substance, and as a runner-up, Wicked.
Amal from Emilia Perez.
No. No,
The
stop,
Journey from the
please,
688.
I don't know what that is.
Like a Bird from Sing Sing.
I haven't heard the
Mi
song.
Camino from Emilia
What?
Perez.
Two, really, two, okay.
And Never Too Late from Elton John. Never Too Late. Woo!
For original song, I did not watch the 6888 or the Elton John movie. I'm sure they are good songs, I'll just listen to them at the Oscars. So Emilia Perez got 2 song nominations, that's great. I mean, if you look on the bright side, I guess the surgery one didn't get anything. Mi Camino sucks, it's a horrendous song. So annoying, obnoxious, slow, boring, it's terrible. Kinda like the movie it came from. Next is El Mal from Emilia Perez. This might be a little crazy, but I kinda like the song. It's the best scene in the movie, not only for looking visually good, but the song itself is just kinda good. I don't know, it's a little fun. Sure, I'm fine with this winning the award since I know Sing Sing isn't gonna get it. El Mal, it's fine. Man, this original song category kinda stinks. I love Sing Sing. I'll talk about it more when we get into the other nominations, but as a song, Like a Bird is just pretty good. I like it, but that's about it. Oh my god, this category is not it. For original song, I'm gonna predict it's El Mal from Emilia Perez, and as a runner-up, the 6888. The song from it, I have no idea what it is.
First, for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role,
I haven't looked at any of this, so I'm not really
Yura
sure.
Borisov in Anora, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain, Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist,
This is
and
bad.
Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice.
That's bad. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these movies, but I've heard they have good ones. That's
Next,
not a good
nominees
start.
for
Ralph Fiennes was really good in Conclave. He isn't as interesting as some of these other nominations, but I still really enjoyed his paranoia and likability throughout the movie. He's a really strong lead in this movie and makes Conclave work a lot more. Timothée Chalamet is quite good in A Complete Unknown. I don't think he really has a ton of moments in this movie that really showcases his acting talent. He's just very consistent in quality. The best feature with his performance is how good Timmy is at being cool. That's like the best part of his performance. He looks really cool, acts really good, and kind of fits Bob Dylan's mysterious cool vibes. It's a good performance, probably around the same scale scale and quality as his performance in Dune. Adrien Brody gives a stellar performance in The Brutalist. I do prefer the 2 nominations over this one for several other reasons as I'll get into, but that's not discrediting Adrien Brody. He's great in this movie, especially in its later half. For the most part, he's only really solid throughout the movie. He never has a weak moment and always fits the tone, but that's about it. It's only a couple of specific moments that really hit, and for the most part, that's all the movie really needed. Adrien Brody is an amazing actor. He gives one of my favorite performances of all time in The Pianist. I just think in this movie, he only had fantastic parts and small moments. When he almost definitely gets the award for this movie, it'll still totally be earned. Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump got nominated, and it's totally deserved. Sebastian Stan is easily my favorite part of The Apprentice. This movie wouldn't work nearly as well without his incredible performance. He's the main reason why this movie works so well. The slow progression of Sebastian Stan very slowly morphing into Donald Trump is a truly horrific experience. Sebastian Stan does an incredible job not only at impersonating Trump, but being able to play an actual human being during all of this, starting off the movie as just a normal guy before picking up more and more of Donald Trump's traits. It's easy to do a Trump impersonation, it's hard to make Donald Trump actually sympathetic. Man, this awards category is stacked. This stuff hits. Number 1 is going to be close, but I'll give it to Colman Domingo in Sing Sing. Colman is up there as one of, if not my favorite performance of the entire year. Actually, Justice Smith in I Saw the TV Glow is probably my favorite, but this is a close second. He doesn't have any insanely raw emotional moments like Adrien Brody, or a showcase of character change like Sebastian Stan. He just feels like a real guy. He is so good at capturing Divine G into a fully likable normal dude, and that general likability adds to the strong message of this film. For actor in a leading role, I'm going to give it to Adrien Brody, and as a runner-up, Ralph Fiennes.
For performance by an actor in a leading role, the nominees are Adrien Brody in The Brutalist,
I Saw the TV Glow guy, please.
Timothy
Really
Chalamet
cool.
in A Complete Unknown,
Oh, I thought he went for Dune, but
Colman Domingo in Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes in Conclave, and Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice.
okay. Sure.
I don't know about Yura Borvin and Honora. I thought he was good, but really didn't stand out to me. I just feel like he kind of functions to push Mikey Madison into giving an even better performance. He just doesn't do nearly enough to earn this nomination. This one is a little undeserved. I wouldn't give Edward Norton that much praise for his performance in A Complete Unknown. He's about the same quality as the next spot on this list, but the next spot on this list just had much more better moments in the overall performance. Edward Norton didn't really have that. He just fit his role well and nothing else. As said previously, Sebastian Stan is staggering in The Apprentice, probably giving one of my favorite performances of the year. Jeremy Strong didn't do that. He's good, but I really don't get the praise around him being as good as Sebastian Stan. I thought he did a good job, but besides that, nothing else. He does go above other performances though because of that one scene with the birthday cake. He really stole the scene during that moment. Okay, the last 3 noms aren't super deserved besides Jeremy Strong, which I can see since it's probably influenced a bit by Succession. Anyways, the next 2 nominations are really deserved. Guy Pearce is probably my least favorite performance out of the 3 nominated performances in The Brutalist, but he's still great in this movie. He's just so likable to the point that you can actually start to believe he has good intentions, just for that one scene to throw everything out the window. Loved him here, deserved. And of course, number 1 is Kieran Culkin. Being 1 out of 2 nominations for A Real Pain, this one is the most obvious. Kieran Culkin gives one of my favorite performances of the whole year here, being so likable and silly while also being so aggravating and annoying. I just love the character he plays, Benji. Benji is like one of the best characters of the whole year. I want to be just like him if you get rid of all the bad self-hating stuff. Kieran Culkin is amazing in this movie, along with Jesse Eisenberg, but Kieran really does run laps around him. For actor in a supporting role, I'm gonna give it to Kieran Culkin, and as a runner-up, Guy Pearce.
In a supporting role.
Who's gonna get this?
Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown. Ariana Grande in Wicked. Felicity Jones.
I really didn't think we
Brutalist,
could win so many Oscars or get
Isabella
nominated.
Rossellini in Conclave. And Zoe Saldana in Emilia Perez.
God damn it. Dude, I've seen like only Wicked. This sucks. I actually thought this happens every year. I think I see like 70 films and I miss every Oscar nomination.
This may be a hot take, but Monica Barbaro was actually not very good in A Complete Unknown. Like, she's actually kind of weak and my least favorite central performance of the bunch. She's passable for the most part, but there are some really hard-hitting scenes here that felt phoned in and out of pocket. There is so much dialogue that just kind of flows out of her mouth. I couldn't really connect with a lot of what she said. If you're gonna give someone from A Complete Unknown a Best Supporting Actress award, give it to Ellie Farr Warning. Sure, she had less screen time, but her character showed a lot more pain and emotion, and she captured that pain really well. Very strange nomination. Don't get this one. This one is a bit strange, is it not? I guess Isabel Rossellini was okay in Conclave, but I barely remember her performance whatsoever. She kinda had no screen time and really doesn't do a lot during her performance. Conclave is a really male-dominated movie, which is an issue with the movie on its own, but still, Isabella didn't do anything here. Why is this an Oscar nomination? It's like Jamie Lee Curtis in 2023. Yeah, not last, not last. Zoe Saldana's alright in Emilia Perez. El Mal is definitely carried by her performance, and she kinda carries a lot of this movie, which is admirable, I guess. This is the Emilia Perez win that kinda makes sense, and it's like the only award they can give with certainty. Zoe Saldana was able to stay out of the complete hellfire that this movie ended up becoming, and therefore she gets a win, I guess. It's still not really deserved, but whatever. As said before, Ariana Grande was very, very good in Wicked. I don't think she's gonna win this one, but if she does, it's kinda justifiable, I guess. She's just very funny and very likable and unlikable at the same time. Really enjoyed her throughout Wicked. Definitely a hateable, but also super enjoyable performance. I really don't like these nominations, they're not very good at all. The only really great performance here has to go to Felicity Jones in The Brutalist. Just like Adrienne Brody, she is very, very good throughout the film, never having any weak moments and functioning really well as this unhinged lunatic before slowly turning into a more likable, normal character. Then like the last 30 minutes happen and she just completely steals the show with some absolutely insane moments. You can never really tell what's going to happen with her next, and her performance really sold me on that. For actress in a supporting role, I'm going to predict Zoe Saldana, and as a runner-up, Ariana Grande.
The
Who would win?
Brutalist.
Haven't seen.
Dune Part 2.
Yeah, that
Emilia
makes sense.
Perez.
How?
Maria.
What?
I did not watch Maria, I legit know nothing about it. Emilia Perez kinda looks okay at points. A lot of this movie looks flat and boring, but on occasion, specifically during the musical numbers, they'll have an interesting, kinda cool, colorful shot. The rest of this movie looks like trash, but I don't want to get into that. I'm probably gonna start looking for positives during the future Emilia Perez segments in this video, because do you really want to hear me keep bashing this film? It sucks, end of story. Nosferatu has okay cinematography. Like, on an objective level, I can understand why people would love the dark, gloomy look of this film, but for me, it's a little too dry and in your face. I guess it deserves it, but it's really just not for me. Dune Part 2 has stellar cinematography, obviously. I don't think everything looks great due to all the CGI, but as I've said before, it is insane that Dennis was able to make a literal desert look so breathtaking and beautiful. Almost all this movie is just on sand, and he's still able to make it look so good. And then once they leave Arrakis, this movie gets even better visual-wise, like the knife fight. It's pretty much tied with number 1, but I do think the desert and dry look of this movie holds it back a bit. I mean, have you seen the shot of the Statue of Liberty? Love this movie's cinematography. It is constantly creative with its concepts of architecture by expertly showcasing the process of building, along with the actual finished buildings themselves. There are just so many instantly iconic moments here. The shot of him smoking over the fire, the opening credits, that damn shot of the Statue of Liberty. Have you seen it? That is crazy. For cinematography, I'm gonna predict The Brutalist, and as a runner-up, Dune Part 2.
A Complete Unknown,
Okay.
Conclave,
Haven't seen that.
Gladiator 2,
No.
Nosferatu,
Sure.
and Wicked.
Sure. Okay. That's fine.
Why? As more time goes on, I really just start to hate Gladiator 2 more and more, and the fact that it got an Oscar nomination is absolutely undeserved in every regard. Sure, the costume design is okay, but just like legit every aspect of this movie, it's just stolen from the first. How is the Academy falling for this? Okay, I like Conclave, but the costumes aren't too interesting. Yeah, they look like priests and they're well made, but that's about all I got. I was gonna put A Complete Unknown lower, but I just realized that these costumes do fit the times really well. I really did feel like this movie took place in the 1960s, and it was due to a lot of things, but the costume design did add a lot. Plus, it made Timmy look really, really cool. Yeah, Wicked not in second to last place. Wicked has some really, really well made costumes, with some great attention to detail and colors, and just the designs overall. Fits the world perfectly and works really well in this movie. I'm okay with Wicked winning this one. It's definitely one of the film's best aspects. Again, as much as I don't care for Nosferatu, I have to admit that there are some fantastic costumes in this one. The hard gothic look works especially well with how fancy but dark these costumes are. Love the look of these characters with their on the surface nice but really dark gothic clothes, kinda like the movie. Costume design, I'm gonna predict Wicked, and as a runner-up, Conclave.
Brady Corbet,
Dune
The
would be kind of
Brutalist,
crazy.
James Mangold, A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez.
Dude, what?
And Coralie
If Emilia Perez,
Farjat,
like, wins
The
Best Picture,
Substance.
that's insane. Well, Substance is cool, though.
Okay,
That is
y'all,
a
for
good
our final category.
Okay, maybe I've been a bit too nice to this movie. I swear I'll be more positive, but the directing in this movie is horrendous. It has some of the most tone-deaf themes from a guy who has never been to Mexico and has talked to like 2 trans people in his whole life. The actual directing is so messy and all over the place, the actors are constantly switching up, the story and general tone of this movie is a complete mess. It's literally the worst kind of Oscar bait out there, and it's because a French guy. I forgot his name. It sucks. It really does suck. One of the worst awards you could give this movie, except like one other nomination that we haven't gotten to yet. Nora had, good directing, sure. I wouldn't say it's one of the film's strongest elements, but for the most part, this movie was executed really well. You can see a lot of personal themes coming through here, and the way this movie balanced comedy and serious elements was super effective. Good job. While not super stellar, I think a complete unknown's strongest element was just how fun it was, and that's no small part due to the pacing. James Mangold did a really good job making this film feel super fun and fast paced. There's a lot of stuff happening, but it's all balanced super well and everything flows together really nicely. Feels really wrong putting the director of Dial of Destiny over Sean Baker, but honestly I really like the directing here, wouldn't mind him winning. For directing, I'm gonna predict Brady Colbert in The Brutalist, and as a runner-up, Sean Baker for Anora.
man. I feel like they gotta win
Anora,
this, right? Hundreds of Beavers,
The
Arthur,
Brutalist,
please. Please, Hundreds of Beavers.
Conclave, Emilia Perez,
Dude, stop.
and Wicked.
This,
What about?
well, I haven't seen like
For that.
4 out of 5 of these.
And
I
for
haven't even seen Amelia. I
achievement
don't
in
know, I'm
sound,
trash. Like,
here are
what
the
if I like it?
nominees.
That would be really embarrassing, but
A
I've
complete
heard
unknown.
that thing.
Real shocker, Emilia Perez also has bad editing, who would have guessed? Pretty much the only issue with the editing of Emilia Perez is the really obvious dubbing. Besides that, the editing I guess isn't offensively bad, but still none of it is good or interesting. This movie is so slow and has terrible pacing with the long shots that go on for way too long. So yeah, Emilia Perez has bad editing, and it got another nomination for it, that's awesome. Next is Wicked, which honestly does not deserve an editing nomination. There really wasn't a lot of this movie that stood out to me editing wise. Conclave has super intense editing that made me feel really stressed, and that counts for something. I'm really not the best at calling out good editing, but Conclave's editing was really solid, felt intense, and worked really well with the tone of the film. Another film that made me stressed with its editing is Challengers, which is not here for some reason. What's wrong with you, Academy? Seriously? I wouldn't necessarily say The Brutalist has the best editing out there, but if it counts, the opening credits and ending credits are insane. Good editing here, honestly don't find it to be too interesting though. Anora, really good editing in this one. Found the start to especially have good editing. Really liked how Anora starts off with fast, aggressive editing to showcase the plastic lifestyle, before slowly making the shots last longer and longer, just for the final 2 minutes to have no music or cuts. Just a slow shot to showcase the unreality of everything. Great editing. While I don't like Anora as much as everyone, I get the praise editing wise. For editing, I'm going to predict Conclave, and as a runner-up, Anora.
The Brutalist,
Challengers, please.
Conclave,
Okay.
Emilia Perez,
No,
Wicked,
bad.
and The Wild Robot.
Whoa! Oh, oh shit! Whoa! Whoa, I didn't expect
Now
that.
this year's nominees for
Yeah!
Best Live
Yeah, that's
Action
big.
Short
That's actually
Film.
big. That's like being up for Spider-Verse last year.
Alien.
This is the worst nomination you could give Emilia Perez. Original song makes sense since El Mal is fine and El Camino is like top half of the OST, but the entire score, you're seriously giving From Penis to Vagina and an Oscar. Really, this is one of the best scores of the year. This movie has some of, if not the worst music I've heard all year. Actually, yeah, this is the worst music of the year. Do I even have to explain why? Have you heard the Plastic Surgery song? Do I really have to explain myself? One decent song in a catalog full of the most tone-deaf, boring, sloppy tracks does not save this movie's score. All the music in this movie is where pretty much all the issues of Emilia Perez stem from, like the song where the boy sings about how Emilia sounds like his father, which shows how completely unaware this movie is of the basic facts about estrogen, or the constant misgender gendering in the Doctor song. This is so bad, so terrible, and it's got an Oscar nomination. Pray to God that doesn't win. Okay, I swear I'll be more positive about the movie from now on. Conclave has a good score that's a little pretentious, but fits the movie. The intense dramatic feel works because the score captures it. Like the editing, the score in The Brutalist was good, but not too memorable. I liked it, fits the scenes well, but never really clicked with me all too much. I kinda forgot a lot about it, and mostly remember the scenes in this movie with no music. Wicked has a great score. Yeah, this is probably my favorite part of the movie. Defy Gravity was what sent me over the edge and decided that this movie was actually pretty good. It's a very good score. The new songs all sound good, and the pre-existing songs are all done pretty much as well as possible. Wow. Again, The Wild Robot is my favorite movie of the year, and the score is absolute peak, so yeah. It's so deserved, and I know it won't win, but I'm still really glad this got a nomination. Beautiful, beautiful sounding score. Definitely contributes to me crying a bajillion times. It's absolutely amazing, breathtaking. Could be kind of annoying with how grand it is, but when the world and animation for this film are so well done, it works perfectly. For original score, I'm going to predict The Brutalist, and as a runner-up, Wicked.
Dune Part 2.
I,
Emilia Perez.
no,
Wicked.
no.
And The
Sure.
Wild Robot.
That's great. That's awesome. I didn't feel like Wild Robot's best attribute was its
Next, the
sound, but that's
nominees
cool.
for achievement in visual effects.
Emilia Perez has great sound, like when they sing. Yeah, sound isn't too bad, I guess. Wicked's sound doesn't really stand out to me, but when she hits that note, ooh, it's so cool. I'm not really great at pointing out sound that doesn't really stand out to me, if you couldn't tell at this point. Again, like most of these nominations, I didn't really see a complete unknown as having stellar sound. It's pretty good. Plus, it syncs with all the instruments well, along with the music all fitting perfectly. Great music, good sound. While The Wild Robot is my favorite movie of the year, I'm not gonna lie, the sound here doesn't really stand out to me. I mean, the sound is never bad and is always consistent, especially with sound effects, and I would cheer if an animated movie actually won an Oscar. But yeah, Dune is just objectively better. Speaking of which, out of all of these, Dune is the only one with actual stellar sound. The way this movie captures its environments with music and sound design is expertly crafted with some incredible wide open landscapes. Much like the rest of the technical aspects of Dune, Dune hits a home run with it. Great sound. For sound, I'm gonna predict Dune Part 2, and as a runner-up, A Complete Unknown.
Conclave. Screenplay by Peter Strawn.
I haven't seen that.
Emilia Perez. Screenplay
No,
by Jacques
stop,
Audiard.
no.
Collaboration with Thomas Bideguet,
No.
Leah Messius,
Bad.
and Nicolas Levecki. Thank you. Nickel Boys. Screenplay by Ramel Ross and
I
Jocelyn
haven't seen
Barnes.
them. I'll watch
And
these, I
Sing
swear to
Sing,
God.
screenplay by Clint
I
Bentley.
was gonna watch that like 2
Cleater,
days ago and I
story by
didn't.
Clint Bentley,
I haven't seen
Cleater,
any of these.
Clarence
It
Macklin,
sucks.
John
But,
Devine G. Whitfield.
you know, if I do make the video, I will. You know, I'll watch them. Yeah.
And for
Emilia Perez's nomination is pretty much original with only a little bit of adapted stuff. I think some sequences of this movie are well written, like when Emilia talks about her gender crisis or when Rita talks about corruption and law. The rest suck, as I've already said, but whatever, I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. This is the only other Nickel Boys nomination outside of Best Picture. On a technical scale, I would be fine with this movie getting awards, but writing-wise, this movie did not click at all for me. I just didn't really attach to these characters and found the dialogue to feel stiff at points. The writing is still mostly good, the pacing is the real issue I have with the movie, but I just didn't really care for the writing or this nomination. Conclave has great writing. The dialogue and general conversations between everyone feel supernatural, and this movie balances its comedy and serious moments very well. To be honest, this movie is at its most stressful when there's no dialogue, and while that might sound like a bad thing, it's the dialogue beforehand that really elevates these silent moments. Super great writing and A Complete Unknown. It probably has weaker writing compared to Conclave, but if we are judging this for adapting Bob Dylan's story, I think it did it really well. Now, I don't know a lot about Bob Dylan, so I could miss some stuff here, but the way this movie took these specific controversial moments in genre blending and explained it through Bob's mindset was really cool, along with being able to throw in so many real life people into this movie so naturally. I thought this movie had really good writing, and adaptation wise, it's great. Besides The Wild Robot, Sing Sing is one of my favorite films this year that made the list. I watched it for this video, so I wasn't able to talk about it in my 2024 video, but if I could, I'd put it at 5th place. The writing in this movie is amazing. It has some of the most down-to-earth, realistic, heartwarming, heart-wrenching dialogue of the entire year. And then you look at the movie adaptation-wise, and well, I'll refrain from spoiling, but it did elevate this movie from great to fantastic. The adaptation of events during this movie is the best element of the entire film. Fantastic writing, best writing in both categories by a landslide. This movie should have gotten so much more stuff, and if you're curious when we get into the Best Picture nominations, it would have been 1st place. For adapted screenplay, I'm gonna predict Conclave, and as a runner-up, Emilia Perez.
Honora, written by Sean Baker.
Okay.
The Brutalist, written by Brady Corbet, Mona
Okay, I
Fastful.
haven't seen either of these.
A Real Pain, written by Jesse Eisenberg.
I haven't seen this either.
September 5, written by Moritz
What
Binder,
is this?
Tim Fellbaum, co-written
I've
by
never
Alex
heard of
David.
this.
And The Substance, written
Hey,
by Kwame
whoa,
Farjah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Big one. Let's go. Oh my gosh, that's
I missed September 5th, which I know legit nothing about. Man, I hate to put Honora at the bottom, but this is kind of a stacked category. Honora has really great writing, from its comedy to its serious sad moments. The dialogue is super funny when it needs to be, but the main standout here is how well written the actions are in this film. Like the ending, which is a really great idea and metaphor that the film silently tells you. Great writing all around here, super well done. Absolutely love the writing of The Brutalist. It's one of the film's best attributes. While the writing for the most part is standard, besides a couple monologues that really worked, the main appeal for me is how the movie tells its story. I love how this movie opened with a seemingly disconnected scene just for the movie to end flashing back to that scene with the new context we had learned throughout the film. The Substance doesn't really have a lot of dialogue that stands out to me, but the real highlight with this film is how insane it is, along with how well written some of these ideas for this film are. Like, come on, the ending sequence is one of the most insane gory moments of the year. I can't even imagine how you'd write something like that. Plus, there are several scenes in this movie without any dialogue that are amazing. The star sequence stands out to me. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie that ends the film perfectly in this disturbing, messed up, gross way. Love the writing here. A Real Pain got 2 nominations and won both. While I don't love this movie that much, the 2 nominations here are the film's best aspects, so it kinda worked out. There is just such well-written, subtle pain between our 2 leads that is only explored slightly throughout the movie. Both characters are feeling real pain, and by the end of the film they don't even resolve their issues. They hug and leave. I absolutely love how this movie opens at an airport with the 2 leads leaving for their flight, and the movie ends with them at the airport returning home. This entire movie takes place over one specific moment in time. We're in between these 2 characters' stories, and you yourself have to pick up on that. Dialogue-wise, it's the best of these nominations by a lot. It's super funny, heartwarming, dark, silly, terrifying, stressful, features a funny, miserable hippie. It's pretty much got it all. Maybe Jesse Eisenberg is good at this movie thing. For original screenplay, I'm gonna predict Honora, and as a runner-up, The Brutalist.
Of the year.
Here they are.
Here we go.
Honora, Alex Coco, Samantha Kwan, and Sean Baker,
haven't seen,
producers.
so, you know.
The Brutalist. Nominees to be determined.
A Complete Unknown,
Why they announce
Fred
it like that?
Berger, James Mangold, and Alex Heineman, producers.
Conclave, Tessa Ross, Juliette Howell, and Michael A. Jackman, producers.
Dune, Part 2.
Oh, I
Mary
didn't
Parent,
expect
Hero
that.
Boyder,
Dune.
Tanya LaPointe, and Denis
Actually, winning a
Villeneuve,
Best Picture would be kind of
producers.
crazy if it does get nominated, which I feel like it will.
Amelia
God
Perez,
damn it.
nominees to be determined,
Well,
producers.
I guess I have to watch it now. Which
I'm
sucks.
still here. Nominees to be determined.
I haven't seen
Guys,
this, so.
paperwork, let's go. Come on, come on.
Wait, I've only
come
seen
on. Nickel Boys,
fucking out of
nominees
these so
to be
far.
determined.
It sucks. I'm so out of touch. Why do I not watch these movies? I always think I keep up.
Nominees
Yeah,
to
Substance
be determined.
would be really cool.
And Wicked, Mark Platt, producer.
Damn. This.
There
Well,
it
I've
is,
only
you
seen
guys.
3 out of these, so.
I know I've said this so many times at this point, but Emilia Perez is not a good movie. I am so tired of talking about it at this point. It is really poorly made, has terrible music, and worst of all, is a progressive movie that fails at every point it's trying to make. The complete disaster that happened with this film is one of the most insane turns an Oscar season has gone, from a frontrunner to a 5th or 6th placer. This movie went up there with Oppenheimer as one of the most nominated films at the Oscar that's now barely a contender. Awful film. Yeah, sorry guys, but I just don't care for Nickel Boys that much. I think it's an okay film, the point of view angle is a super creative, inspiring choice, but the actual writing, pacing, and general storytelling didn't click for me as much as I wish it had. I just could not get attached to these characters or what was going on. This is one of those movies I gotta rewatch because I didn't watch this one super focused, and it totally ruined my experience. Still though, glad this film got a Best Picture nomination. I can see why people would call it groundbreaking. It really is a completely new form of storytelling that we really haven't haven't seen. Wicked was good. I don't really see the Best Picture nomination, but I think it's still a really well made film with great music and good performances. I don't think it deserves that many nominations and this much praise. It's not one of the best movies to come out this year, far from it, but it's a good movie, one that I've already done a full video on, along with talking about it during this video. While full of holes and issues, I really enjoyed A Complete Unknown. It's a good, solid story detailing Bob Dylan's uprising and his change or blend of folk to rock. It's a really well made film, well acted film, just very solid all around. Besides its glaring flaws like some of the weak performances and general lack of focus, I really wish this movie focused on Bob Dylan's mindset more and actually delved deeper into themes rather than just staying on the surface. A Complete Unknown also paints Bob Dylan in a really bad light before pushing him onto the stage as a star and the hero of the story, which was extremely bizarre. Despite these issues, the movie overall was a blast. I had so much fun with it from start to finish. It was super entertaining, had great music, and while not deserving this many nominations, it is still a really good time. Conclave was really good. I really enjoyed the director Edgar Bergen's last film, All Quiet on the Western Front, for its darker themes and really well put together feel. This isn't quite as good as All Quiet on the Western Front, but it's still really cool seeing Edward take the same qualities he put into a war film and make an intense political drama on priests. The movie has a great flow and some really interesting, well put together writing. I don't think this went deep enough to really hit me, and some of the film isn't too interesting when it's not focusing on our lead, but for the most part, this movie is really good. I'm Still Here is such a powerful, thought-provoking film with a fantastic lead that really hard carries this movie. I caught this one in theaters and really enjoyed it. I love the story. I had no idea it was a true story, so the ending revealing it really hit me. I really wish I thought it was as good as everyone else, but unfortunately, I just didn't find this movie to be super interesting during its middle chunk. A lot of this movie does end up being a little uninteresting and boring. Still though, it's a great international pick, a super well-made film. I really like this one. During the writing of this video, I saw Nora for the first time and I thought it was very good, but after a bit of thinking, it's actually great. There's some great editing here with a really cool meaning, and as said before, a great lead performance from Mikey Madison that steals the show. Nora is just a really well-told, interesting story on plastic lifestyles and how eventually you'll come to realize that what you're living in isn't reality. It's a super funny, enjoyable movie, but also a sad, slow watch. Really wish I watched this movie in theaters before making my 2024 video a couple months ago, because this movie would make the list. I really gotta watch more Sean Baker movies. The Brutalist is my favorite film that I hadn't seen before making this video. It's great. Super long and maybe a little too slow for my taste, but man, some of the payoffs here are so worth it. A great deconstruction of the American dream with a man's slow descent into insanity. It is a great movie with great cinematography, great performances, and one of my favorite endings of the entire year. I really hope this one gets an Oscar. It's kind of all over the place, but this is the one I'm really hoping for the most. Dune. I've talked about this movie a lot because for all accounts it is still probably on an objective scale in the top 3 movies of last year. On a technical scale, it's groundbreaking and obviously deserves all the awards it's gotten, if not more. It's so well directed, really well acted, feels so grand and epic, being a really refreshing, actually epic sci-fi movie. Great film. I've talked about it in my own separate review and in my 2024 video. And my favorite movie for Best Picture is The Substance. Dune and The Substance are pretty much on the same level in quality, but personally, I like The Substance a little bit more. It is one of the most insane out there horror movies I've seen. The in-your-face, aggressive tone of this movie really reminded me of why I loved Barbie so much. Instead, this time there's gore, guts, nudity, everything to shock you and gross you out. It's one of my favorite horror films in recent years and somehow an Oscar contender, making it my favorite Best Picture nomination. And for Best Picture, I'm going to predict The Brutalist, and as a runner-up, Nora. Okay, that was my Oscar recap. Here's all my winners. For The Substance, I would give it Best Makeup, Hairstyling, Directing, and Best Picture. For Sing Sing, I would give it Best Actor, Original Song, and Adapted Screenplay. For Real Pain, I would give it Best Supporting Actor and Original Screenplay. For The Wild Robot, I would give it Best Animated Feature and Best Score. For Dune Part 2, I would give it Best Visuals and Best Sound. For Nora, I would give it Best Actress and Best Editing. For The Brutalist, I would give it Best Supporting Actress and Best Cinematography. For I'm Still Here, I would give it Best International. For Nosferatu, I would give it Best Costume Design. And for Wicked, I would give it Best Production Design. Probably the most stacked category here was Best Actor, all great performances. This year was kind of all over the place, and the Emilia Perez shadow really ruined a lot of these awards. Didn't love the movies nearly as much as previous years either, but there was still a lot of great stuff. If you enjoyed, like, and if you really enjoyed, subscribe. Comment your favorite awards below if you want. The video did turn out to be a little messy editing wise, so I'm really working on pacing myself here, but as always, I drop a big video like this each month and smaller videos in between. Thanks for watching, enjoy the Oscars, and this is an epic outro.